dominated the world of EA Sports Supercross. He rode to his 4th win of the year, demoralizing the competition, and seemingly headed towards an incredible 7th championship. Can Jeremy keep the heat on, or will somebody step up to stop him? In the 125 class, Michael Brandis grabbed his first Supercross win, becoming the 7th different winner in 7 rounds. Anything can and will happen. EA Sports Supercross invades the Silverdome. Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross. Tonight from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, it's round 7 of Supercross action. More fans have seen Supercross in the Silverdome than any other arena in the world. And it's another packed house here tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Ekman, along with former champion David Bailey. And David, recently we've seen the 125s. The future superstars have been the most exciting, at times breathtaking.
It's been amazing. The depth of talent in this class is getting up there like the 250s has been over the years. And 6 different races, 6 different winners. And, of course, the guy that's taking people's breath away is Travis Pastrana, making his 125 Supercross debut last week. This kid's not used to riding with other riders out there, and he found out that it can get a little tight with Brock Sellards, but he learns fast.
I think he took his own breath away, as well as the fans. 6 different winners in 6 different rounds, and 6 different riders have taken the Yahoo Sports hole shot money. Smith, Gossler, Tane, Preston, Burg-Rat, and Brandis. Now, usually getting a hole shot is essential for winning a Supercross, but look at this. Of the 6 rounds, we've seen the 6 different winners, but only one of the winners also took a hole shot. Michael Brandis, in opening the 125 West last week, took those top honors. And we have never, in the history of 125 Supercross, had 7 different winners in the first 7 rounds. Just might happen tonight. Turning to the 250s now. Jeremy McGrath has pulled away from the points lead. He's got 4 wins here in Pontiac, but he's had his problems here, David.
That's right. In 1994, he had to go all the way to the last chance qualifier to make the main event, which he won, and he's been the only rider since to be able to accomplish that feat. Then in 97, leading the race on the Suzuki, it looked like he had it in the bag, crashed, finished 4th. The next year in 98, riding his first time with Chaparral, leading the race, crashed, broke the triple clamp, scored no points. He has won here, but he struggled as well.
Joining us now is Davey Coombs down on the floor of the stadium. A new recent development, another 250 contender went down in practice.
That's right, Art. It was actually Ricky Carmichael who went down hard in practice. And Rick, got to ask you, how do you feel?
I feel good, Davey. It was kind of scary yesterday. Actually, I knocked the breath out of me, no big deal, and then I came back to the truck and my insides were hurting. So I went to the emergency room. I got it checked out. I just, you know, when your insides are hurting, it's not a good thing. I didn't want to go back to the hotel and then have problems later on. So we got checked out, and I feel good. I just got to dig deep tonight.
Good luck, Rick.
Thanks, Davey.
RC, a gutsy racer. He crashed twice in 2 days of practice. You look at him, he just smiles and says, I'm okay. David, we got this unique track here in Pontiac.
This is one of my favorite track designs I've ever seen here. You can see from the long start, a drag race at that first corner, a left-hander, then up into the stands. Now, this is unique. You don't see this anywhere else on the circuit. Most promoters would do anything they could to fill all the seats. Here they've sacrificed seats to make a better show. Up into the Toyota corkscrew. Steep uphill, 180-degree corner, and back down over a double jump that sends them back down onto the floor, into a rhythm section, and a 180-degree right-hander, and into the whoops. Now, those are highlighted in blue, and what I like about the whoops this year is in the middle section, they've spaced them farther apart to try to mess these guys' timing up a little bit, and it's worked. I saw them struggling in practice. Onto a triple jump, another triple jump, and onto the finish, Art.
Our racing format, we have the 4 top riders out of the 2 qualifying heats getting the transfer directly to the main event. The rest going out of the semifinals, for the top 5 get to go to the main, and then only 2 more gate positions available. Those riders come out of the last chance qualifier. The 250s at the gate for our first qualifying heat. Villeman, Larocco, Tortelli, Albertine, Dowd, Ward, Voss, Sebastian Waugh, Jason Thomas trying to qualify in both the 250s and the 125s. Greg Schnell, a 125 Western rider, also here, along with former 2-time 500 champion Shane King. We're set to go. The 250s are off. A great start by Villeman on the longest start I've seen in Supercross. Villeman goes up the corkscrew He'll come out of it in first.
Seems like every time Villeman gets the hole shot, he gets it by about 25 yards. Just no contest.
Boy, he handled the Toyota corkscrew very well, too. Number 934. Don't let the number fool you. This is his first full year in 250 action, but he's already won 2 races on the season. Villeman and McGrath, the only winners so far in 250 action.
See LaRocco right there.
Number 5 picking up things against Sebastian Waugh, number 31.
Does pick up a spot, but that only moves him into 5th. So he's still got to pick up one more to make it to that main event. So that's Sebastian Tortelli right there ahead of him.
So it's Villeman with Albertine in 2nd place. Number 33, the true privateer, Heath Voss, who's made as much as, well, he's made almost $8,000 in privateer money. The Pace Privateer Fund has really helped him out.
Looks like Villeman's already starting to stretch it out just a little bit. Albertine stayed close to him to that whoop section, coming back the other way. But look at the air time those guys get through that rhythm section. When they get it right, they spend more time in the air down that straightaway than they do on the ground.
Well, with a blue bike in front, a yellow bike in second, we got nothing but red bikes behind them through the qualifying.
Well, since you're bringing up colors, you got to go pretty far back in the pack to find Team Kawasaki's John Dowd and then Larry Ward. Well back in the pack.
Villeman is just pulling away from Albertine now.
Well, Villeman was the fastest in practice. Take a look at the lap times from the 2nd practice session where everyone gets serious. Villeman was 57 seconds. McGrath and the rest of the guys, Wyndham, Carmichael, 59. So Villeman has definitely got this track wired. You can see right there he's starting to pull away even more. And Albie's riding well.
Heath Voss is doing an excellent job there in 3rd behind Albertine. As we take a look at our leader right now, number 934, David Villeman.
Look at him through those whoops, Art.
Great poise.
Soaking him up. And the corner speed of this guy is really what's impressive. A lot of guys can go through the obstacles great. Reaches up in the air to readjust his clutch, gets that play out of it. But his corner speed is just amazing. He's on the power so early, and he uses so much of his body to keep that traction.
He's got about a 5-second lead. The real battles are coming up behind him. Albertine, Voss, Tortelli, and LaRocco will be back to those battles in just a moment when we continue with more EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac, Michigan. Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross is being brought to you by Honda, maker of the all-new Rancher, built for the ranch we call Earth. By Toyota Trucks, unbreakable every day. And by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan, the first qualifying heat of our 250s. Villeman is out in front. Albertine is 2nd, but the real battle is for 3rd. It is going on. Number 33, Heath Voss. Number 21, Sebastian Tortelli. They're back tire to front tire right now. Voss doing a fantastic job this year. He's been the top privateer this season.
Good Tortelli.
Squeeze inside there. Sebastian, number 21.
You got to put a lot of pressure on the guy. If it means getting in there, and let's say it messes up your timing slightly, but if you can give that guy a little scare, run over his foot, nudge him a little bit, he starts worrying about you. And LaRocco's behind this battle. He's got to pass Tortelli. He's got to pick up one more spot if he wants to go to the main event. And you got the 2 Kawasaki team factory riders behind them, so this is shaping up to be one heck of a semi.
So Tortelli gets by Heath Voss. Voss still trying to hang on and go directly to the main event out of the qualifying heat for the first time this season. He's always had to go to the semifinals or LCQ to make the main event. Here's Greg Albertine holding his own.
Greg has definitely held his own lately. He's done a little bit more than that, sneaking up into the top 5. Last week he had a chance for the top 5, and a fall towards the end of the race in the whoop section robbed him of that. But his riding has really been getting better, smoother, faster.
His best race, a 4th at Houston, the best Supercross since a 4th at Daytona in, that's March of 1998. So the improvement continues as we got Sebastian Tortelli, and 33 is Voss and Mike LaRocco, and that's the bubble for the transfer. Only 4 make it into the main event, the rest to the semifinal round.
Well, Mike knows he's got to make this pass to make the main event. Doesn't need any more wear and tear. He's been sore still from that crash in Phoenix. He's starting to apply the pressure now.
He's getting up into an attack mode against Heath Voss.
And ahead of these guys, Tortelli's checked out and really started to put the pressure on second place Greg Albertine. So Albertine's not off the hook. Looked like he had a secure second. Not anymore.
Mike LaRocco, an outstanding race in front of his native Indiana fans last week. And here he goes, number 5, moving into the final transfer spot. Can Heath Voss come back off that corkscrew?
Pretty tough to keep up with a guy like Mike LaRocco, who's just a machine out there. Second place last week and just worked his way into that position.
He really did, because he started in 4th. He passed Wyndham, and then he passed Villeman for second place, which is not an easy thing to do this year.
I haven't seen that happen. Villeman usually works his way to the front, and LaRocco did that to him.
LaRocco finishing not one time out of the top 5 this year.
Still not good enough for Mike LaRocco.
It's not good enough as long as Jeremy McGrath and Villeman are in front of him in the points race.
And just slowly inching away. And there's Villeman. Take a look at him. Pretty tall. You can see he lands right there into the corner, sitting down with his leg out just to save a fraction of a second.
Villeman with such a smooth style.
You know, this whoop section really plays into his riding style. See how he picks the front end up, lets the back wheel bounce over a couple to carry the front wheel even farther. Now, he's able to do that much better than if he were able to trying to jump 3 or 4 whoops, because he'd stick the nose in there too hard and go over the handlebars. Timing has always been his strength. This whoop section requires a little bit of bonsaiing across the tops and timing.
David Villeman nears the checkers. He can feel it right now as he takes that final turn. Heads off the platform, sees the checkers, does the heel clicker. David Villeman with a pretty easy time of it, winning our first qualifying heat in the 250s, followed by Sebastian Tortelli, Greg Albertine, and Mike LaRocco making the transfer to the main event. A gentleman who has to go on to the semifinals, however, is Team Kawasaki's number 10, Larry Ward. Check it out. Larry off to his toughest season since 1996 when he started it with a broken thumb. Does a little unscheduled walk off the track, David Bailey.
Well, just came in there a little bit hot, hit the back tire of Waugh and just forced him into the high side, but he was going to the semi either way.
Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Well, David, on your first visit here to the Silverdome, you look very comfortable with the track.
Yeah, it looks pretty good and pretty worried, and the ground is very soft. But my Yamaha put a great all shot, and I could ride with a free track and ride like easy and smooth. And maybe it's going to be good for a main event.
You think you can get back up there with Jeremy like you did in those other 2 races you won this year?
Yeah, I need to get the better times that I used to do, and just try to get relaxed for the main event and just concentrate about the start and about my riding, and I think I can do it.
Good luck in the main.
Thanks a lot.
David Villeman with a focus to return to the top step of the podium. Jeremy McGrath and the rest of the 250s coming up in our second qualifying heat in a moment. EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Our second 250 qualifying heat almost ready to get underway. And, of course, it includes the great Jeremy McGrath. Ricky Carmichael, number 4, anxiously awaiting to see how he'll do. Kevin Windham also in this particular field, trying to get a breakthrough race. Tim Ferry, number 15, right alongside his chaparral teammate Jeremy McGrath. We're set to go. Ricky Carmichael to the inside, gets the whole shot. Ricky Carmichael, another great start. He's had some wonderful starts during the main events this year.
has. He's been getting out of the gate. Excellent. Gets the power to the ground. It's a tricky thing to get a good reaction, but be careful about the delivery of that power.
2 Yamahas right behind him, number 43 and number 1. Jeremy McGrath moving into second place now with a quick challenge on Ricky Carmichael. Just zips by him in the whoops. What a move by Jeremy McGrath. Ricky staying away from contact, but he's staying close to the number 1 machine.
I'll tell you what, Jeremy knows how to just ruin your confidence. He went to that whoop section faster than I've seen him go all day, just at the perfect time. Just to mess with the head of Ricky Carmichael, because you know what Ricky's thinking, and when I get back to that whoop section again, I have to turn it up. That'll make you nervous.
So the first lap completed, and Ricky Carmichael bangs a little rubber with Jeremy McGrath in the corner. Well, Ricky's not letting him go. Up to the Toyota corkscrew. Kevin Windham moved into third. Here's the start again.
Carmichael getting into the corner. He can control it. He goes a little bit wide just to make sure. I don't know if he knew that was McGrath or not, but if he did, he took him all the way out there to those tough blocks just to make sure that hole shot would stick. There McGrath just inches away a little bit more in that whoop section.
McGrath with tremendous precision and speed through the whoops. Carmichael in second, Windham in third, Ferry in fourth. Right now, those are our qualifiers, and they've broken from the field. Damon Huffman is on the bubble.
Look at Kevin Windham. I don't have to go on very much about the talent and speed of Kevin Windham, but he is losing time to Carmichael. He was trying as hard as he can to stay on the back wheel of McGrath. That's how fast those guys are going.
Windham searching for that great main event that can get him back to the podium. He had 2 podiums in the first 3 races. Last 3 races, he's been in second and third, only to record 2 7th places and an 8th place finish.
These guys tripling into that corner just leaves no room for a mistake. If you don't land with the brakes, the clutch, the right body position, you go right up over the top of that berm. Track's starting to get a little soft in some place. Look at this corner right here. That's where Larry Ward went down earlier. Wyndham's mechanic, Alley, saying, get up there.
Here's Tim Ferry. He's 4.7 seconds, as you saw, behind the leader, Jeremy McGrath, but he's in good position to qualify for the main event. So Tim Ferry tries to hold on to the final qualifying spot as Jeremy McGrath leads. We'll be right back to Pontiac, Michigan in a moment. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan, as we take a look at the master, David Bailey.
Well, let's just stay on McGrath here. I mean, the guy is just flawless. Anybody that's taping this show, I mean, I invite you to go back later on and watch this. Freeze frame this guy anywhere you want. He'll be in the right position, and he'll look like he means business. He charges. Every time he lands hard on the power. No wasted time in the corner of this whoop section. I can't tell you, I don't think I could ever describe how hard it is to stay through that section on the tops of those whoops. He hasn't made one mistake yet. Look how far forward. It's clear up over the front end at times. So he can be that hard on the power, and the bike doesn't get away from him. Gets the signal from his mechanic as he goes through the mechanics area. Listen to him on the power. Every time that rear wheel touches the ground, it just shoots a roost back at Carmichael. 1 lap to go.
White flag for Jeremy McGrath. You know, it's nice to watch it live and on TV, but also PaceSupercross.com has the live webcast of all of our races this year. Top interviews, post-game shows. They'll take your calls afterwards, too. Check it out. PaceSupercross.com.
Watch this timing right here. Well, he didn't do it that time. He's been tripling up through there. Then tripling into the corner. I don't think he needs to use that timing right now because he's got enough of a lead, but it is a faster line that he can pull out of his pocket if he needs it.
Incredible 56.2 second lap. As the checkers gets ready on Jeremy McGrath's final lap here in the qualifying heat.
You see that long gap back to second because now it's Kevin Windham.
Kevin Windham in second place. The checkers for Jeremy McGrath, who leads the pegs with both feet. And Kevin Windham will get a second place finish. Tim Ferry moved into third. as Jeremy McGrath now has won his 6th qualifying heat race of the year. There's Ricky Carmichael, number 4. He will qualify. He only dipped down to 4th.
Now you can see by that shake of the head, he knows that was just the kind of mistake that he's trying to avoid this year. I mean, he was right there, keeping pace with McGrath, going the same speed, building confidence. That crash isn't going to help.
Our 250 results page sponsored by Honda. Jeremy McGrath, Wyndham, Ferry, Carmichael, all going to the main event. On the bubble, going on his way to the semifinal round is Damon Huffman. Let's go down to Damon.
Well, Jerry, your fellow Supercross champion David Bailey was keeping a close watch on you that time, and his verdict was just about perfect.
Well, I had a great race. Thanks a lot, David. And, you know, the track's really good. It's a big track. There's a lot of ruts, though, and you got to make sure you don't make any mistakes. And I think it's going to be a long race. It's just going to be the guy who makes the least amount of mistakes.
You were especially fast at those whoops.
Yeah, my Chaparral Yamaha's working excellent through the whoops, and I think I was feeling a little detonation that time in the whoops because you're so wide open. I think I'm going to go richen the bike up a little bit and try and get one better start in the main event.
Well, there you go. Get ready now.
All right, thanks.
Jeremy winning a series-leading 6th qualifying heat can now go back to the trailer, take his cold medicine, and relax. Meanwhile, here's a look back. The hard luck kid, Ricky Carmichael, who got back up just in time to capture the final transfer spot in 4th. Once again, the only 2 winners on the season, McGrath and Villeman, are victorious in their qualifying heats. Tortelli and Wyndham are riding well. Can anyone derail this guy, the 6-time champion?
Round 13 of the 16-race 1999 Supercross Series unfolded at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. When the field rounded corner number 1, they were chasing number 1, Jeremy McGrath. Number 10, Jimmy Button, and number 4, Ezra Lusk, were in 2nd and 3rd until number 17, Robbie Raynard, charges forward, capturing 2nd. Raynard was able to control that position for several laps, eventually giving it up to Lusk. Both riders went high in the corner, but Lusk had the bike that worked in the whoops. While McGrath was pulling his disappearing act, Mike LaRocco was charging through the pack. He ran down number 5, Mikel Pichon, made the pass, finishing the day in 4th. McGrath, meanwhile, was loving life as he aimed for the final jump of the race. It was win number 7 on the season, giving him an almost insurmountable points lead.
Welcome back to the Silverdome, where we've just seen some outstanding qualifying rounds, and David Villeman looked like he was ready to get back on that top step as far as I was concerned, but he also got a great challenge from a fellow Frenchman. Tortelli has really had a nice learning year this year.
You know, the thing about Sebastian is that a lot of people are saying, well, he's more of an outdoor rider. I'm looking at him in the practice sessions all year long, and he's been fast lap times. He's just had struggled with getting good starts in the main events. The guy's definitely got the speed, and I think this track, they put 6 tons of lime on it to try to dry the soil so it wouldn't get so rutted, and that's worked. But it's dried it out a little bit, so the soil's moving around a lot more like it would on an outdoor track. Plus, the only other time he won a race, the only time he won a Supercross, it went up in the stands at L.A. They're doing that here again. Maybe he's feeling real comfortable in this building.
Jeremy McGrath in the 2nd qualifying heat had the fastest lap times, but Ricky Carmichael also putting some fast laps.
Well, I just have that image welded in my mind right now of McGrath just flying past Carmichael through the whoop section. Just kind of sets the tone for the night. He did that in Houston as well in his heat race, and it just kind of wrecks the confidence of those guys. But Ricky did rebound and match his pace until he made that mistake. Maybe that pace would force him into a mistake. I think that's what Jeremy's counting on.
We're getting set now for our first semifinal for the 250s. Heath Voss, John Dowd, Jean-Sebastien Waugh, Greg Schnell, a 125 Western rider, Larry Ward, there's Dowd, number 16, Shane King, Ryan Terlicki. The board is sideways. Top 5 make it to the main event. Sebastian Waugh in a battle with Heath Voss. Sebastian Waugh takes the lead, number 31.
Much better starts this time for the Kawasaki pair, Ward and his teammate Dowd there.
Sebastian Waugh on the Planet Honda machine is eligible for Pace Privateer Fund money. And Heath Voss, as we mentioned earlier, who's in a battle right now with Waugh, has made almost $8,000 out of that very important fund for Privateer. Ward in third. His teammate John Dowd in fourth. And Jason Thomas in fifth.
Well, it just became a follow the leader through that corner before the triple. Leader went and rolled through that. It's normally a double. Everybody was forced to roll it right behind him. This lap time won't be very fast, but doesn't matter. What these guys are thinking about right now is get comfortable, learn the track, work out the bugs. Try not to expend too much energy before that main event.
Larry Ward, number 10. The last 3 years here in Pontiac, he took a third when he was with Honda of Troy in '97, a fourth and a fifth with Team Suzuki. And John Dowd, his teammate, is right behind him. And Dowdy won a 125 race here in '96.
Thomas working his way through the whoop section. You got King back there in that four-stroke.
Rubbing plastic just a little bit. Heath Voss. Whoa, another battle for the lead. Voss trying to get back on Pony Express style. Only loses 2 spots. Incredible by the Privateer.
We've talked about the strength of Voss, but we don't need to tell you anymore. You just saw it right there. It takes so much strength to hang on to that motorcycle. Watch this again. He gets a little bit offline here. He jumps this double, gets kind of off to the outside, clips one of the edges of the course markers. Has quick thinking to be able to stay on that motorcycle. A lot of guys end up high-siding in that situation, but the strength he has helped him pull out of that.
Can't tell he was a football linebacker, can you? Heath Voss, number 33, out of Ohio.
He's still probably thinking about that right now.
So Sebastian was our leader with Larry Ward in second place. Voss in third. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back to the Silverdome for more EA Sports Supercross. We're in the first semifinal. Number 10, Larry Ward, has just taken the lead against Jean-Sebastien Waugh. Let's take another look at the pass, David.
A little bit better rhythm through that whoop section. Larry Ward staying on the top. Seems like the guys that are a little taller are able to let that bike work underneath him a little better. Larry, one of the taller riders on the circuit, like Villeman, gets through there quick.
So Larry Ward, number 10, is looking forward now to his first checkered flag of the year. He's had a tough start on the season.
It's been hard for him. I mean, he came in injured, new bike, got injured again. Last week he got landed right on his back in the heat race, and it just seems like something keeps happening to him. And he's through all that. He's had a pretty good attitude, but boy, it's pretty tough to keep your spirits up and keep getting knocked down.
White flag, the final lap. John Dowd is trying to move from his fourth place position up into third. Larry Ward, our leader on the last lap.
Larry has so much experience, Art. And he's been out there so long. He's won races. He's finished on the podium so many times. This might be what he needs just to get his head straight, give him a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel to get this win.
Well, he really hasn't been able to work on the bike much because he hasn't been able to practice much because of injuries. Heath Voss moving into third place. Whoa! Look out, John Dowd. Dowdy holds on to it. He wants to qualify.
Now, these guys are already in the main, but he just doesn't give up. You know, I mean, last week he crashed 3 times in the main event, including the first corner.
Look at this, the checkered flag. Larry Ward is beaten to the checkered flag by number 31, Jean-Sebastien Waugh. Oh, my goodness. Jean-Sebastien Waugh coming from behind, takes the checkers and surprises Larry Ward.
That's a tricky section leading up to that finish line, and it's caught a few guys by surprise. If you mess up your timing out of the corner, you can't do the double.
Checking out now the Honda results page. It is Waugh, Ward, Voss, Dowd, and Jason Thomas. Thomas with a crack at qualifying in both the 125s and 250s. Check out this finish one more time, David.
Well, Larry's, all he's got to do is just get through the corner. No problem. But he comes up with a little bit different timing heading into that section right there, and it worked out in the favor of Sebastian Waugh right there. See, Larry needed to jump up on that plateau the way Waugh did. Well, that's too bad. Get robbed right there in the last 25 feet.
So Sebastian Waugh, number 31,
Well, Larry was trying to protect that inside line, and it just worked against him.
So Waugh now has made over $6,000 in Pace privateer money. Let's go down to David.
John, we were watching Larry Ward. It looked like he was going to get the win, and all of a sudden, bang, out of the last turn, you're the winner.
Yeah, I was kind of upset when he passed me. I did a little mistake. He passed me there, and I really wanted to cut him for the end. But be honest, I didn't see that coming. There's a last-minute pass, a little mistake from him. Got me to win, my first semi, you know. It's good for Planet Honda, it's good for everybody, so I'm happy. Looking forward for the main event.
Good job.
Thanks a lot.
There's nothing like your family seeing Supercross in person. Check out these locations: Daytona Bike Week, St. Louis, and Minneapolis. And if Supercross doesn't get to your area, don't worry. The sport is everywhere. Buddy Anthony is going for his unprecedented 4th consecutive Arena Cross title. Then onward and upward to Pace Ultra Cross, coming to Portland, Oregon, New Haven, Connecticut, and Raleigh, North Carolina. The riders are at the gate for our second semifinal round. Damon Huffman, Kyle Lewis, Michael Craig, and others. They're off and running. Damon Huffman, number 20 on the Team Suzuki. But look at number 112. That is Kyle Lewis, the former Japanese national champion, who has done a good job lately just making the main events.
Just a little mistake there by Huffman. He definitely had the hole shot, no question about it, but he went into that corner a little hot, drifted wide. We saw Carmichael do that in his heat earlier, but he got away with it because he had everyone to his outside. But you can't leave that door open. Riders will come right underneath you.
Remember, the top 5 qualify for the main event. Kyle Lewis, our leader. He's qualified over the last 4 races. The best showing was last week, a 10th place finish in the main event. He's earned more than $4,500 of Pace privateer money this year. And our battle goes on behind him now.
Now this is the final transfer spot. Fournette wasn't able to jump that double. He'll lose the position. First time I ever raced here was 1980. Trying to get into that main event, I made a pass. Thought I was going to get it. Got robbed in the last corner. Ended up going to the last chance qualifier and never made it. Just making the main these days is such a privilege.
Damon Huffman, number 20 in second place. Number 43, Michael Craig, is behind him in third. And there's our leader, Kyle Lewis. Damon Huffman has not given up on retaking the lead.
Well, he got a terrible start in his heat race. Things didn't go well. That's why he's here. But he's definitely got the speed. Don't be fooled by him being in the semi. He got 5th last week. He's on a roll.
Lewis looks over his shoulder. Huffman still behind him. Lewis, a crafty veteran of 12 professional years. Huffman cut a little bit too sharp that time, David.
He's just trying to get in there and make Lewis a little bit nervous. A lot of guys are starting to favor the inside line right after the finish, and Lewis went wide, so Damon's just letting him know, you do that again, I'm going to nip you.
So the battle ensues between Lewis and Huffman. Huffman takes the lead. We'll be right back with more EA Sports Supercross in a moment. Time running out here in Pontiac, Michigan in our second qualifying semifinal round. And it was number 20, Damon Huffman, who regained the lead from Kyle Lewis and has just done a beautiful job in staying out in front.
This is how he did it. Just positioned himself to the inside down the straightaway. Got down there with pretty much the same timing and speed, but he had the control of the corner. I don't think Lewis really wanted to argue for it that much. Just wants to get to the main.
Damon Huffman is on the way to winning his 3rd consecutive semifinal round.
Winning's nice, but I don't think Damon wants to make a habit of going to the semi, though.
Well, at one point, it was a good progression. But now, he wants to get further than that and go directly from the main to the main event from the qualifying heats.
You see Craig, Isaiah Johnson. With some of the top guns out, it's given the opportunity to go a little deeper in the field into some of the privateers, giving them a shot at the main event. Craig's also another rider like Larry Ward. Has been around for, seemed like ever. Riding 125s, winning Supercross main events.
Won one in Tampa when he predicted he would beat Jeremy McGrath, and that was unheard of in those days.
Huffman just having a good time now, Art.
The checkers for Damon Huffman. And coming across in second place, number 112, Kyle Lewis. So Damon Huffman justifying Roger DeCoster's pickup to bring him back to Team Suzuki after several years at Team Kawasaki. And Damon would like to certainly improve on his main event performances off of this one. So our Suzuki results page, Huffman, Lewis, Craig, Johnson, and Frenette advancing to the main event. The rest going to the last chance qualifier. Let's head on down to David.
Damon, that was a good ride on a tricky track, but tell me about that pass on Lewis.
Well, through the difficult timing section, I just had stayed a little bit lower and got the drive on him and went underneath them.
Well, sounds pretty good. Now listen, in the main event, what kind of start you're going to need to get in the top 5 tonight?
Yeah, the start here is pretty tricky. It's a very long start, and the second turn is so tight. If you're not in the top 5, you're going to be way back right away.
Good luck with your start, Damon.
All right, thanks a lot, everyone.
Evidently, the fans liking Damon Huffman's performance as he's on his way to the main event. Destination Las Vegas. Before you know it, we're going to be there for the final round of EA Sports Supercross. A lot of you fans make a festive vacation out of that race. But this year, you can consider having a party at your own home. May 6th, live, pay-per-view, only $14.95. Next, expanded coverage of the exciting 125 class. All coming up next from Pontiac, Michigan. Our Honda Close-Up focuses on last week's 125 winner, Michael Brandes of FMF Honda. Michael got the whole shot and broke away, leading every lap for his very first Supercross win. He began competing in BMX, but his brother had a dirt bike, and he made a deal with his dad that was just the right motivation.
Well, if you get all A's and B's on your report card, we'll get you a bike. So, sure enough, you know, I come home with all A's and B's, and he's croaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, you did it. So.
That led to a promising career, but that passion for motorcycles has stayed with Michael on and off the racetrack.
I couldn't consider my life, even if I quit racing, that I couldn't stop riding. You know, it's just one of those things that's such an addiction to us that it's just the one thing that we can do the rest of our life is going to be riding motorcycles.
Michael Brandes of FMF Honda, this week's Honda Close-Up. Tonight's expanded coverage of the exciting 125s as the riders in Heat 1 include Stefan Roncada, Brock Sellards, former Rookie of the Year Paul Curry, last year's 125 West champion Nathan Ramsey, Kelly Smith, who led St. Louis for 14 laps last year. Number 56 there on the end is Ryan Clark. The top 9 out of each heat qualify for the main event. Going up the hill, it's Kelly Smith getting the whole shot on the KTM.
See how crowded it gets in that 180-degree corner at the top. Leaders really have an advantage to get through there clean.
Kelly Smith, number 1. Brock Sellards, number 2. And it's James Eichel in third place. Number 411. Brock Sellards making the move against Kelly Smith. Brock is really a bulldog.
This kid is tough. All that time on the 250 helped build his confidence. If it hadn't been for a crash last week, getting collected with Travis Pastrana, those guys going for the same line, he may have been up there challenging for the lead with his teammates.
Kelly Smith in second place as they complete the first of 6 laps in our qualifying round.
One of the riders expected to be up front in this heat, Roncada, terrible start, running mid-pack. Ryan Clark working his way up to the top. The leaders, you can see, already starting to pull away just a little bit. And that corner at the top is tough because it's kind of dry and powdery up in there. See these riders, it's just a simple 180-degree corner, but they're having a tough time getting through there quick.
The battle for 4th is on. Danny Carlson is number 135, leading the charge on the Suzuki, but he's getting hounded by the Honda. And that Honda's Paul Curry. Here comes Curry, making a move or tries to, and then has a little problem on one of the stutters.
This is one of the trickiest whoop sections I've seen.
Curry gets the triple. Paul Curry, quite a story. In his first national race ever, he and his dad went to the race. He did pretty well in that first race. I think he took a third. He was up there, got his trophy, and left. He didn't know there was a second moto, David Bailey.
That's a new one. Well, there you can see Ron Cotta starting to sneak up into the picture. Curry gets a little squirrely there. He's unable to do that finish line double. Carlson gets him right back.
Danny Carlson on the Suzuki. 135.
Tyler Evans.
Tyler Evans. Lots of contact, and he ends up going off the track. He might have to go to the LCQ, and Tyler Evans, with a very fine third-place finish in the opening round of the 125 East, cannot get that bike back up on the track.
Yeah, he's in a terrible spot right there. You can see Ron Cotta came up short to avoid Curry. It looked like Evans was already committed on the right. Thought he might be able to just squeeze through there, but they clipped bars, and he is in a tough spot to try to get going. And I don't see any way he can finish in the top 9 here, so it looks like the last chance qualifier.
Here's our leader, Brock Sellards, number 18 on the FMF Honda from New Philadelphia, Ohio. Was very impressive in the beginning of the season, riding 250s in the West region. 3 of 5 times. He advanced directly to the main event after the qualifying heat was over. Pretty good for a 125 rider. As we take a look at number 56, Ryan Clark from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Brock Sellards hold off Kelly Smith now here in this opening qualifying round to take the checkered flag. It's Sellards, Smith, and Clark. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan in our 125 qualifying round. The battle for 4th place is on. Number 26, Stefan Roncada, Yamaha of Troy. And Stefan is very, very fast. He's to the rear of Paul Curry. There goes Roncada. Roncada making an easy pass of it. Curry still in good qualifying position, however.
Ron Cotta on the way down that straightaway is looking up the hill already, trying to see where his next victim is, I should say. He got a bad start. Look at him triple right into there. Oh!
Roncada goes flying. Looked like he was taking off a bucking Bronco. He's trying to cross the track to get to the bike. So Roncada, if he doesn't get back up quickly, might be going to the last chance qualifier.
Well, it looks like he's going to be able to get going a little bit quicker than Tyler Evans did, so there's still a chance. But right there, he was trying to triple into that rhythm section, something that only McGrath was able to master in the 250s. He comes up a little bit short. You see the impact. Doesn't get squared away again before he hits that next jump. Flies right off the side of the bike. Lucky he didn't get hit. Those guys behind him were heads up. So he doubles into here. Then instead of doubling, he triples this, comes up short.
And the bike goes flying. Looks like he was on a Brahma Bull there for a while. As we go back to our leader with the white flag lap underway, Brock Sellards. Sellards running a very cool race on this difficult track that looks like it might run up pretty good for the main events.
Now this is similar to what his teammate Michael Brandis was able to do to win last week. Just get out front early and let all those problems kind of happen back there behind you. He probably has no idea that his toughest competitors, Ramsey, Roncada, Evans, these guys are all really struggling just to make it into the main event out of this heat.
Brock Sellards taking time to wave to the fans, takes the checkered flag, and winning the qualifying heat is Brock Sellards. Let's check out the Wrench Head results page as Brock Sellards is our winner. Kelly Smith taking 2nd place, and Ryan Clark a good 3rd place ride. Ramsey in 4th, Paul Curry in 5th. Pavolny, Carlson, Gibson, Olaf.
Brock, I know this is the site of your first and only 125 Supercross win. You come out tonight and you get your first heat race win of the year 2000.
Yeah, you know, I got off to a great start, and I'm just pushing it out there. I'm trying to get some fast lines and be consistent because the track's pretty ruddy out there.
What about in the main event? You're going to try and do everything just like that?
Yeah, hopefully get another good start, just try to ride my own race and not focus on the guys behind me.
Well, here's some kids in Pontiac, Michigan that are having a great time. And another kid who had a great time is Travis Pastrana, who had quite a remarkable time of it in his opening round of EA Sports Supercross debut. He almost got black flagged for wild riding. He crashed twice in the main, once in practice, but he came back to take a fourth-place finish. Preparing for his second pro race, Travis is ready to adjust and learn.
I came out and I was just a little impatient. I was in third on, I think, like the second or third lap, probably the end of the third lap. And I was like, all right, I need to start working my way up to the front. And, I had just starting to realize that, third, with all the talent that's in, the 125 East Coast, third is a very respectable spot to be in. And, heck, it's a long race. 15 laps is a lot longer than I ever thought it would be.
And he needs to be more patient. And it's nice to have a rider that is, really eager and wants to go and wants to go up front soon. But, it's a mistake that a lot of the good guys have made in the beginning.
I don't really have to prove myself, but I just want to prove to myself that I can keep it on two wheels, I can ride a smart, safe race, and that I can go in without bumping anyone and make some passes happen.
The main thing is that he learns from his mistakes and that he, won't make him time after time again.
I'll tell you what, Art, after looking at what happened last week with Pastrana, it's the black flag issue, the reckless riding, I really only saw one bad decision, bad judgment, where he tried to squeeze by Sellards over a triple, but Sellards wasn't all that upset about it. Travis went over and apologized and said, hey, I thought I could squeeze through, and I really didn't see any reckless riding. It's just this kid is 16. He comes in with a lot of expectation. There's so much pressure put on him, and all in all, I didn't see any real big mistakes by the kid. I thought it was a pretty mature ride.
Sandwiched between Jason Thomas and Matt Shue is Pastrana as we get ready. The 32nd board is sideways. Our second qualifying ground of the 125s is underway. Good start by Pastrana, but number one headed toward that whole shot award is Fonseca. Here comes Nick Way, number 23, the challenge to Pastrana in second place. Michael Brandis in fourth behind Nick Way. Brandis now moves into third. Here's Travis Pastrana making the break on the whoop section against Fonseca. Fonseca cuts back and retakes the lead. What a battle for first place here in the opening lap.
Well, smart racing, too, amongst these guys.
Look at that bar to bar. Brandis working on Pastrana. Contenders all around the young rookie as Way falls back to fourth.
Never doubt or underestimate the aggressiveness of Pastrana. Even though it is his rookie season, he's only 16. He will go for it, but smart by Fonseca to get him right back, not give the kid any confidence, and also a pretty heads-up move by Pastrana to stay out of the way and not get knocked down by that move from Fonseca.
Up to the Toyota corkscrew. Fonseca getting pressured now by Pastrana. And right there is Michael Brandis. Brandis, what an effort by him. He's hardly practiced a lick in the last 2 weeks, even though he won the race, the opener last weekend, because of a very sore wrist.
Right there, he just about had an opportunity to capitalize on a mistake from Pastrana.
Oh, look out. Hold on, Brandis.
This is a tough loop section in that middle area there that's spaced farther apart. Let's take another look at the start. Look how close it got in the first corner. Jessamine coming to the inside under Pastrana, going down. Travis almost goes down. Going up the hill, he got bumped a couple more times. So he's realizing that racing in this pro division, with these guys all going this fast, man, you got to ride with your elbows out, be on the defensive all the time.
Michael Brandis, number 27, now starting to feel a little heat from the pro circuit rider, number 23, Nick Way.
All these hot contenders in this heat race all got off to great starts. That's what you want to see in that first heat. A lot of the good guys got hung back to bad starts, and it was easy for Sellards out front. It's not going to be easy for Fonseca here. Look at Travis.
Fonseca working a minute, 0.36 second lap. And Pastrana right behind him. Here comes Pastrana with the move on Fonseca. Little juggle there. Didn't quite have the angle for a block pass. Fonseca slips it.
This is going to be a huge boost of confidence for Travis to be able to get out there and run with the number one rider, the guy that dominated last season here in the East.
Winning 6 of the 7 races, and his worst race was right here in Pontiac, where he took a second.
Both these guys holding last week's winner back there still. Brandis just checking it all out.
Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan, the 125 qualifying heat. Our second qualifying heat for the 125s has just been phenomenal. Fonseca now in second place, the defending champion of the division, following the young rookie, Travis Pastrana. Here is the battle for third with Brandis and Nick Way. Brandis, number 27, goes up to the corkscrew.
Look at the lead now that Pastrana is starting to open up. That surprises me a little bit because it didn't seem like he was really being held up or anything by the leader Fonseca earlier, but seems that way now. As soon as he made the pass, he's able to stretch it out a little bit.
Getting by the lappers is Pastrana. Fonseca was the very first 125 rider to win a title in his very first pro season. Can Travis Pastrana equal that this year in the 125 East?
I'd say from what we're seeing right now, Art, absolutely. And he had such a tough time last week. A couple of crashes, a few mistakes, but he still was able to turn that into a fourth place and to come out here and beat last year's winner and last week's winner. He's going to have to hold off the deal with all the pressure from Fonseca. Fonseca is keeping the heat turned up, but looks like Travis doesn't look like a rookie to me right now, Art.
Final lap underway, and Brandis is able to hold off Nick Way for third. Boy, this is some of the best action we've had all year. Pastrana, Fonseca, Brandis, Way, and Carpenter with Burg-Rat. Remember, the top 9 advance to the main event out of our 125 qualifying matches.
Here, Travis made sure he got a little bit of a lead before he kind of toned it down that whoop section, forcing Fonseca to go through there and take the chances.
Both riders getting around Matt Shue, number 201. Just a short distance to go for Travis Pastrana. As he heads for the triple, looks back to see where Fonseca is. He moves around as much on a bike as anybody I've ever seen. The checkers, his first in EA Supercross, Travis Pastrana. And a great battle with the defending champion, Fonseca. What an awesome race, David Bailey.
I cannot wait for the main event.
Okay, as we take a look at our top 9, those that graduate to the main event, the others go to the LCQ, where the top 4 will get a chance for the money in the 125 main. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Well, Travis, I know your pro career is about a week old, but man, what a mature ride. Much different than last week.
Well, thanks. I don't know if I'd call it mature or not. You know, still a little bit out of control, but, you know, I settled in a couple laps behind Ernesto. He's riding really good. You know, I know in the main there's going to be a lot more guys riding great, but, you know, just to be able to get a good start and just ride smooth and not keep it on 2 wheels the whole time, that would be my goal.
What about conditioning? I know you've been, you still got this cast on your hand.
Well, I've been training quite a bit, even with the cast. Haven't been able to ride but 2 days in the last month, but, you know, I've been training really hard, and I don't know if my conditioning's great, but it's going to get getting better every race.
Good job, Travis.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
Well, it's obvious after last week's performance that Travis is a little self-conscious about his riding style, but I'll tell you what, in order to win a race like that with Fonseca, last year's champion, and last week's winner, Brandis, you're going to have to take some chances, and you can expect to get a little bit out of control. And the main thing is he kept it on 2 wheels, and he got the win. Mature ride.
The fans here in the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, having a great time seeing some outstanding racing. You can, too. We go to Daytona Speed Week on March 11th. March 18th, St. Louis, Missouri, as we come back to the Midwest to visit the Trans World Dome. Then on the 25th, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the Metrodome. Hope you can make it to one of those 3 destinations. Destination Las Vegas. Mentioning destinations, that's where we end up this year. Supercross history in the making. In the comfort of your own home, you can see the Las Vegas round. It's a 125 shootout and all the great 250 riders as well on pay-per-view coming up on May 6th. 3 hours of uninterrupted coverage. We'll have Travis Pastrana's second pro EA Supercross coming up. Will the other 125 riders have something to say about it? Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross, is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles. Get great deals on customs and gold wings during the Road to Savings. And buy Dunlop motorcycle tires. Traction, speed, power. For everyone with the hunger, Dunlop superiority. We're back in Pontiac, Michigan. The moment this crowd has been waiting for, the 125 main event, as we take a look at the Dunlop 125 points. After one round of action, Brandis leads Sellers by 3, Evans by 5. But look out for Pastrana. He's only 7 points back with Nick Way rounding out the top 5. Let's take a look now at the Suzuki 125 grid. So much talent at the gate. Travis Pastrana, Brock Sellers, Ernesto Fonseca, number 1. Kelly Smith on the KTM. Michael Brandis, the first round winner. Then Clark, Way, Ramsey, Carpenter, Curry, Burg-Rat, a good starter. And at the end of the pack, we find Roncada, Jessamine, and other guys who are good starters, David Bailey.
Well, they just had a tough time getting out of their heat races. That's why they're so far down in the lineup. But don't let that fool you. There's probably, I'd say, 8 to 10 guys that can feasibly win this race tonight. That's how deep the talent goes.
32nd board is up. Will we have a new hole shot winner? Remember, at the top of our show, we said we've had 6 different winners and 6 different hole shot winners. Brett Sellers, FMF Honda, second place in last week's race with Roncada right behind him. Oh, we've got a good duel right from the start, David. Roncada cutting to the inside. The Yamaha of Troy trying to pick up space on Sellers. Roncada is our new leader. Bar to bar down the whoop section. Trouble for Sellers.
It's a tricky section. I said it all night. Through the middle there, there's a couple of bumps that are spaced pretty far apart. Roncada just timed him out perfect. Here comes Fonseca now.
Fonseca side by side with Paul Carpenter of Ithaca, New York. And it's Fonseca moving into position to contend in 3rd place.
I think this is where Eric Kehoe expected his team guys to be, up in the front. Last week, both of them got pretty bad starts, had to work their way up. They actually got stuck together at one point, but tonight's starting off much better. There you see Pastrana over the jump. He's in contention.
Number 23 is Nick Way, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Can you believe it? So we've got 7 rounds and 7 hole shot winners, different hole shot winners.
We may see a different winner altogether as well.
Number 18, Brock Sellers, picking off the Yahoo Sports Extra Bonus Hole Shot Money. There's Travis Pastrana, number 199.
Look how he stands up, getting into those corners. He stands up quite a bit more than the other guys. Very interesting style. Brandis is back there following every move. There he goes into the corner right behind Pastrana. He's following him through this pack.
Trying to catch up with Nick Way. Number 23.
Pastrana not following, trying to take different lines, keeping his momentum more through those corners.
There's Michael Brandis, who won the first round last week of the 125 East, currently in 7th place. Now, he hasn't been unable to practice for at least 3 weeks. He won that first round with a little more than a half-lap practice because of an extremely sore wrist.
It's amazing when you have some sort of an ailment like that, something keeping you back, the focus intensifies so much. The same thing happened with McGrath. He wasn't able to race or practice, all week. He was still able to go out there and get the win.
Nick Way, a 3rd place here in Pontiac, Michigan last year, led the first 5 laps. He's getting all the heat that he ever wanted from Pastrana.
I think what you're going to see from Pastrana is a patient ride here in the early going. If he notices that the leaders are getting too far away from him, I think he'll start to take a few of those chances that he's been known for.
Last week, Way crashed from 4th to 14th and came all the way back to 5th, showing some great speed on his own. But can he hold up number 199?
Travis ducking out of that corner for the roost. The rocks shooting off the back wheel of the rider right in front of him. They're starting to lose a little bit of ground to this pack.
Roncada has pulled a pretty good lead on number 18, Brock Sellers. And there is our leader, number 26, Stefan Roncada. He is perched for victory. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 125 main event in the 7th round of EA Supercross. Number 199. Tested Nick Way. Past Nick Way, and take a look at this action.
Well, he came into the triple. He didn't have enough speed, but he went for it anyway. Look at the compression there. Rebounds. I mean, such good reflexes to get back on the brakes and make that corner. If he'd have gone off the end right there, he'd be probably running around in last right now. Great save.
And the incredible thing is he's got the speed to be right back up on Nick Way's tail.
Well, I think that impact, probably he's still feeling it right now. Here he comes to the same exact section. Gets over it no problem this time. He's fast to the whoops. Real fast to the whoops and fast enough everywhere else. You see the face of that triple, the rut's starting to develop. Those will get deeper. And you drive into the face of that triple jump to get the speed to clear it, and your bike, the frame drags the tops of those ruts.
Right now, our leader, Stefan Roncada, has a 10.2-second lead on Travis Pastrana. But Pastrana's got his work cut out for him just getting around Nick Way for 4th place. Well, the contenders are right where we thought they would be now. Roncada, Sellers, Fonseca, Way, Pastrana, Brandis, in that order.
Oh, it looks to me like Travis is just riding a little bit more mature. It could be the fact that he was sick this week. Doesn't feel 100%. He really doesn't have that much more under the hood. He's just trying to be smart right here. Stay close enough to Way that if he makes a mistake, he can move up another spot. These two are definitely losing time. There he goes to the inside. No contact. Clean pass.
So Pastrana, with the good move, moves up another notch. Nick Way, though, doesn't want to let him get away.
Now he'll try to study some of the lines.
Oh, Pastrana once again bobbling. Nick Way trying to take advantage of it now as they go through the whoops. Way doing a fine job there in the whoops. Pastrana has to go to the outside. Can Way cut him off? No. Pastrana. Back and forth we go.
Kid is so strong, and in the middle, in the air over that triple, he's still looking to his left, going, okay, where's the leader? Am I losing time? Am I making up time?
This guy is such a combination of former riders. I mean, you got a little Bob Hanna in him all the way. But he's got that tall, sweet nature as well to be able to recover. As we take a look at our leader, Stefan Roncada.
Well, Stefan was the fastest in the early practices. His lap times were matching the 250s.
And he was down outright unlucky last week, number 26.
That was just one of the most freak things I've ever seen. He was just trying to make a pass on Fonseca. Those two got stuck together. Fonseca got his wheel stuck, or his foot stuck in the rear wheel.
It was potentially a clean pass by Roncada, but Fonseca was slipping down, put his foot out, and put it into the back wheel of Roncada, and they both went down for several seconds. But right now, he's looking good. Last year, he was second place in points. 97. He won here in Pontiac. As we take a look now at the second place rider, Brock Sellers.
He's looking good, Art, but just that gap is staying about the same. Not able to pull up any time. There you can see Fonseca, the gap back to him, that's staying about the same. The only rider I can see making any progress right now on the track is Pastrana. He's moving up slightly on Fonseca.
Pastrana with a 59.8 second lap the last time around. Only Sellers was faster.
Now, Fonseca had a bad lap that time, went 101. That's what allowed Pastrana to close that gap a little bit.
Stefan Roncada is riding smooth and fast out front. Behind him, Brock Sellers, the defending champion Ernesto Fonseca, and then Travis Pastrana. We'll be right back. While Stefan Roncada leads our 125 main from Pontiac, Michigan. Last week's winner, number 27, Michael Brandis, is trying to hang in there with a very sore wrist.
No, he's starting to fade a little bit. He's got quite a distance before the next rider can catch him, so I think he's just going to put it into cruise control here and just try to forget about this week, put it behind him, and move on.
It's just survival for Brandes, and it's acceleration for Roncada. He still has not slowed down very much, even though he has drawn a big lead.
Nope, no mistake. Good pace everywhere. You hear him onto the power early, feather in that clutch. Good timing through the whoops. Just fast enough to maintain that lead.
Almost a 7-second lead for Roncada.
Now he's been able to consistently stay under a minute. His lap times are coming in around 59.5 every time. And for Sellards back in second, he's turned those lap times as well, but he's had a few 1 minutes, 1:01s, and those are the ones that has helped Roncada build this lead, and Sellards has been unable to get that time back.
Roncada, very fast, compact riding style.
He's one of the smaller guys in the circuit, muscles the bike around a little bit, but here and there is little spots of incredible finesse, being able to put the bike exactly where he wants, hit the same line every time, but he does ride a little bit more stiff than some of the other riders.
And Travis Pastrana trying to make his way closer to Ernesto Fonseca in third. The battle back and forth with Nick Way, number 23 of Pro Circuit.
Anxious to see how Travis handles this pressure. Well, actually, it was Wade that made a mistake back on the straightaway there. Look at Travis.
Paced one of the hills, yes.
Just tries to bonsai into those whoops, stay on the tops, and as soon as he loses his momentum, instead of trying to pick it back up, he starts timing those jumps. They're like jumps. Those whoops are so big this week. He's able to pick the front wheel up and bounce the back tire through there like the way we saw Villemin doing earlier.
Pastrana picked that rut perfect on the jump.
Doesn't look like he's tiring. He still looks like he's charging to me. Now he doesn't have that pressure from Way. He'll be able to focus a little bit more forward. It's a long ways to go up to Fonseca.
The young man who broke into Supercross, the most highly publicized athlete to ever come into the sport professionally. And right now, here in the second round, he's showing the cool, much more relaxed than he did in the first round.
Well, you know, if he's able to stay where he is, that's going to match his finish from last week, but with 2 less crashes, 1 less crash on the parade lap, good starts, a heat race win. So all in all, I mean, considering he came in here sick, pretty good performance.
I was going to say, you know, he rides so well and so fast, you forget he's got a cast on the throttle hand as well as has had the flu all week long. Final lap, Roncada. Young man went through a very frustrating year last year with injuries. Some people said he didn't have the real high pain threshold, but later they found out differently that it was a real medical problem.
Yeah, he has definitely battled through some hardships. He's got it under control now. I mean, he looked fast last week. He just didn't get the best of start, and then getting hooked up with his teammate kind of ruined it for him, but he's proven right now how fast he can go.
Not very far away from a victory for Stefan Roncada. Roncada, the young man who lives about an hour south of Lyon, France.
A knack for Roncada. You don't see the 125 guys doing it.
And he takes the checkers for his first win of the season. And right behind him, slowing down, is Brock Sellards, number 18. His second place finish in 2 races. Roncada extremely happy right now. He'll toss the goggles into the crowd. There's Fonseca, his teammate. Not too happy riding by him, but he placed on the podium in 3rd. Taking a look at our Suzuki result page, Roncada leads off the list. Brock Sellards in 2nd. Ernesto Fonseca, Travis Pastrana, the same finishing mark as David Bailey noted earlier. And Nick Way rounds out the top 5 with the Last week's winner, Michael Brandis, in 6th. Let's go down to Davey.
All right, Stefan, I know that's the ride you've been waiting for 2 years for. Congratulations on the Pontiac win.
Yeah, you know, my Yamaha Stride 125 is working awesome. I put a great start because of it tonight, and I had surgery on my arms last year. My arm pumps are gone now. It's not an excuse anymore, and I'm happy I can prove tonight I can win without letting go at the end. So that's one of the best nights of my life. I mean, I'm so happy right now. It's great for me and the team. It's just awesome.
Right on. I know last week you had a problem. You and Ernesto Fonseca crashed. Really hurt you in the results. Way to bounce back here at the Silverdome.
Yeah, you know, last week it was a bad deal. You know, it was part bad luck, part both of us fault, you know. So I forgot about it. I had to catch up on points this weekend. I worked really hard during the week. My mechanic worked really hard on my back. It's working perfect. My team manager, Rico, is doing a great job. And I want to thank Mark Peters for building me 6 Supercross tracks in my backyard. Without him, I couldn't have done it. And of course, Eric Hugh and Phil Alderton are here to sponsor me and push me all the time. And it's great to have guys like that behind you. And I want to thank my girlfriend, my parents, and everybody that's helping me out this year. It's great.
Good job, Stefan.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks a lot to you, dude. Thanks.
7 rounds of 125 action, 7 different winners, and we have a new points leader as Brock Sellards takes over the lead of the 125 points race. Brandis still in 2nd, Roncada in 3rd. We'll be right back as Jeremy McGrath tries to give Yamaha their 100th Supercross victory. There are several records on the line here tonight in Pontiac, Michigan, as we get set for the 250 main event. The 20-rider field was completed when Greg Schnell and Ryan Terlicki took the top spots in the Suzuki Last Chance qualifier. 20 laps of 250 action as we take a look now at the 250 lineup sponsored by Honda. You've got Jeremy McGrath and David Villeman, the only winners on the year. Kevin Windham and Sebastian Tortelli from Team Yamaha, or Team Honda, rather. Timmy Ferry, Greg Albertine, Ricky Carmichael, Mike LaRocco, Damon Huffman, Jean-Sebastien Waugh, Kyle Lewis, Larry Ward, Michael Craig, also a winner in Supercross. Privateer Heath Boss, Isaiah Johnson, John Dowd, all kinds of outstanding riders. Greg Schnell, the 125 West rider, making it in the Last Chance qualifier with an impressive ride. The 30-second board is up. Will Yamaha win their 100th Supercross victory? A landmark for Yamaha if Jeremy McGrath, David Villeman, or another rider on a Yamaha can get that checkered flag.
Well, it's looking pretty good. McGrath winning his heat race, Villeman winning his heat race. The only 2 winners on the season. I say the odds look good. Check out LaRocco here all the way on the inside.
Main event underway. Jeremy McGrath, a great start. Jeremy McGrath gets his 3rd whole shot of the year. Damon Huffman in 2nd on the number 20, Team Suzuki. The Yahoo Sports Whole Shot Award to Jeremy McGrath. Tortelli is up there behind Huffman.
What a great start for Huffman. What an interesting first corner. Ricky Carmichael circulating in last place now after going down.
In 13th is David Villeman.
Look at Carmichael. He gets in there against his teammate, gets sideways, and as that bike swings back around, he clips the inside corner marker and collects Mike LaRocco. LaRocco, a great start for a change. Right there alongside Villeman, but they just get hung up. They got to go around all this wreckage.
There you see LaRocco getting off and having to pull the bike back. A bad break for LaRocco.
That's it. He is not going to even come close to finishing where he wants to finish tonight, which is probably one of those top 2 spots he'd be happy with. It just looks about impossible now with a start like that.
So, David Bailey, do you suspect now we have a race for 2nd? Ward. Windham goes down. Ward gets through the confrontation with number 14, Kevin Windham.
Now Kevin has to restart the bike. The energy that takes, lose your rhythm. More riders going by. He's behind LaRocco now. As you take a look at Ward, running 4th.
Another look now.
Oh, that was just a inches right there. Kevin tripling into that corner. Just clips the back wheel of Larry Ward. I don't think Larry Ward meant to do that. He was just taking his line. Kevin thought he could just sneak back under there.
Jeremy McGrath already with almost a 2-second lead on Damon Huffman. But look at Damon Huffman, Tortelli, and Ward and Albertine off to tremendous starts and could end up with their best results in the year 2000 so far.
And yeah, once again, Albertine at the tail end of this pack we just talked about. Another pretty strong performance for Greg. He's been up front in each of the last 3 main events.
There's Sebastian Tortelli. Tortelli in 3rd place.
He may just start turning into more and more of a Supercross rider as this season progresses. He's getting faster. He's starting to turn some of the fastest laps in practice and in his heat races.
Always well-conditioned Tortelli. Last week in 8th at Indy, his best of the year was the opener at Anaheim where he took a 4th place. But right now, he's hovering in 3rd. Number 7, Greg Albertine, trying to catch up to Larry Ward in 4th position.
Albie, I'm sure, is aware of the situation with Larry Ward, knowing that towards the end of the race, Larry may start to struggle a little bit, just not being able to train as much due to injuries, and capitalize on that.
Albie in 5th. Boy, would he like a podium. His last podium was a 2nd place at Dallas in April of '97. Tortelli having to restart the bike, David.
That's just right after the triple. You're trying to get stopped to the corner without stalling the bike. The soil's real loose right there.
So Ward and Albertine move up a notch with Tim Perry behind them. Number 10, Larry Ward, Team Kawasaki. His first year on the Kawasaki team.
Albie sticking that front wheel in there, letting Larry know you better not go wide again.
And Greg Albertine, as they go through the Toyota Corkscrew, after his great national championship, extended his contract with Team Suzuki. Hopes to end his career with Suzuki.
Look at the momentum through that whoop section.
Here comes Albertine. Albertine goes to the outside. Larry Ward has to let him go. What great power and acceleration and control through the whoops.
That was just determination. He came out of the corner and just, he had his sights set on the line he wanted to pick right to the outside of Ward. No problem.
So can Greg Albertine be on his first podium in quite a while. Larry Ward tries to pick up on Albertine. Jeremy McGrath is taken away with this one in Pontiac, Michigan. And we shall return in a moment. Back to the Silverdome. Jeremy McGrath, after taking his 3rd consecutive hole shot, leads this field. Number 934, David Villeman. When he gets a good start, can ride with anyone. But he got hung up. There he passes Greg Schnell.
Villeman is working his way up the ladder, back up into 8th. You saw how much he got held up in the first corner, so it has been a great ride. But the problem is, he was the closest guy to Jeremy in the points. Jeremy now will stretch that points lead out. I don't see any way Villeman can get up inside the top. I mean, 5th would be a stretch right now, and what a chunk of points that's going to give to Jeremy.
20 laps. It becomes an endurance race after a while, especially when you're fighting from behind.
See how hard it is to get stopped for that corner. Isaiah Johnson right there in the main groove, having his problems.
There's John Dowd, number 16.
Wyndham starting to climb back into this now after his earlier mistake.
Kevin Wyndham, number 14.
The year didn't start off too bad for Kevin either at Anaheim. Up on the podium, I thought, well, this could be it. This could be the year where Kevin has all the tools, the confidence, the bike, the experience. But it's been a nerve-wracking experience for him ever since. Just gets so tight in the main event, unable to ride to his potential. This isn't really working out much better. I think he's probably riding, feeling comfortable right now, but not in the position he wants to be in.
Villeman, a long way back in double digits in seconds to Jeremy McGrath as we take a look at the 8th place Kevin Wyndham. McGrath in 1st, Huffman in 2nd, Albertine in 3rd, and Wyndham as we zero in on him, is in 9th place.
Remember Ricky Carmichael going down to that first corner, obviously did a face plant, no visor on that helmet. He's climbed his way up into 12th spot.
He was 11th here last year in his very difficult premier year in 250s. He won the 125 East crown here back in 98. And of course, 97, he wore the number 70. He had a crash in that race in the 125s in 97 here, but ended up 3rd.
This has not been a good weekend for Ricky. Crashing yesterday, going in for a CAT scan, a possibly bruised spleen. But meanwhile,
the winningest rider in sports history, the defending 6-time Supercross champion, Jeremy McGrath, just takes away with it.
Just staying on task, doing what he has to do, knowing when a whole shot is really important.
He's almost 18 seconds in front of 934 David Villeman, who came into this race second in points. Villeman now in the battle for 6th with Larry Ward.
That just gives you an idea of the kind of pace and the resolve that Villeman has to be so far back in the pack. Remember, Larry Ward at one point was in 3rd place. And here these guys are battling. Villeman is on the move. It won't be good enough for him to stay in contention in this points championship, but it will be a fine ride.
Well, and you never know. What if something should happen to Jeremy?
That's always possible. I mean, you just definitely want to position yourself, if you can't be beating him, the next best guy in line. He has done that, but he is losing ground fast.
Look at that, Kevin Windham passing.
He wasn't able to do the triple that time. For whatever reason, the faces of those jumps are rutted. It's getting even worse.
So now it's Kevin Windham assaulting Larry Ward from the rear there. Ward, Windham.
You know what happened there, Art? They came into the corner, and Larry Ward pulled one of those old-school moves on Villeman. He shut down and made sure that Villeman wouldn't be able to jump the double. What he unknowingly did is open the door for Kevin Windham to move right up by the Frenchman.
And now Kevin's capitalized even more, getting around Ward. And you see Ferry just ahead of Kevin now over the triple. So Kevin still has another rider. He can move up into the top 5. That would be an improvement over the past couple of races.
Villeman trying to get a wheel in front of Larry Ward. There's Windham, Ward, and Villeman. This is the only race on the track right now, as Villeman just can't seem to get around the very pesky Larry Ward. Ward is showing a lot of courage right now.
Well, I know that he's having to dig deep right now for this performance with the pain and lacking the fitness.
Windham on a charge. He's cut 3 seconds off Tim Ferry's advantage in the last lap. Number 14, Windham, takes the inside move into 5th place. Jeremy McGrath continues to lead round 7 of Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross. We'll be back. Back in Pontiac, Michigan, the Silverdome, round 7 of EA Supercross. It is Jeremy McGrath looking to tie Bob Hanna as the all-time Yamaha winning rider. McGrath with 19 wins to Hanna's 20 wins, and behind him this battle is raging on. Larry Ward, number 10, has been in the thick of the action the entire race. Despite the fact he's in 8th place, he's got a teammate, John Dowd, who's been hounding him, and Villeman has just passed him.
See Dowd a little bit closer a lap ago. He made a mistake somewhere and lost some time. That gives Ward just a little bit of room to breathe. Back behind, right behind John Dowd, though, now is number 5, LaRocco. You see LaRocco just heading up the hill right there. And he is starting to apply the pressure here.
The former 2-time 125 Western champion number 20, Damon Huffman. I'll tell you, Roger DeCoster has got to have a smile in his heart right now. They were saying all kinds of things when he signed Damon Huffman, who has had a couple of very bad years. But Roger has got to be having the last laugh right about now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy. I know he sees a lot of potential in Damon. Damon's a great kid. He's young. He's got an incredible smooth style. He can ride Supercross. I mean, he don't win 2 125 titles by accident. He had to beat off guys like Ryan Hughes to get those championships. And there's third place right there, Greg Albertine. He's starting to feel a little pressure now from Tortelli, but if Albie and Huffman can stay where they are, that's 2 Suzukis up on the podium. I'm sure that'll give Roger a reason to smile.
They're just starting to pass a lap or Terlicki. And here comes Sebastian Tortelli versus Greg Albertine. The former World GP motocross champions going back and forth.
This is a rivalry right here. Battling that out for the 250 World Championship. These guys just keep finding each other out there on the racetrack.
Tortelli, a 125 and 250 winner. Greg Albertine, a 3-time world champion. And, of course, his biggest credential here in America, a tremendous championship in the national motocross scene last season, the 1999 season. Here's Jeremy McGrath.
Watch him through these whoops. Keeps the bike flat. Not quite as aggressive through there as he was in the heat race or earlier in the main events. He doesn't have to be, but even when he's just kind of taking it easy through there on cruise control, it's still faster than most everyone else and consistent.
With Jeremy McGrath possibly winning his 5th race of the year and Villeman winning 2. That's 7 consecutive wins for Yamaha would tie an all-time single-season win streak for them. Anna back in 78 with 6, and Mike Bell, topping it for number 7 back then. And if you count Las Vegas last year, it's actually 8 consecutive wins for Yamaha, 7 in this season.
They've got it working over there. This could be starting a mini streak here for Jeremy. This could be 3 in a row if he hangs on. Now, look at Tortelli really starting to tighten the screws on Huffman now. Just when I thought Huffman was out in the clear for second, nothing's safe with Tortelli on the track because that guy is so fast at the end of the race.
McGrath with better than a 10-second lead as Huffman tries to hold it together against Sebastian Tortelli. Both of them very hungry riders. Tortelli winning a motocross-like track in Los Angeles' Coliseum. In fact, that was the last Kawasaki victory in Supercross back in '89.
And these guys are coming up on the white flag. So Tortelli will do all that he can to try to get around Huffman, maybe try to use the lapped riders to his advantage, capitalize on a mistake or a bad decision by Huffman, but he has got the pressure on.
As we thought might happen, we've got a great race for second place.
I used to just hate this. You get some guy just putting the pressure on you in the last lap. You're tired. You're going, oh, come on, leave me alone.
Here's our leader, Jeremy McGrath, on the final lap.
Jeremy doesn't have to worry about pressure. He doesn't have to worry about nailing that whoop section one more time, but Huffman does.
Whoa. Sebastian Tortelli putting that wheel in front on the turn. They collide just a little bit. Sebastian Tortelli, a good angle. By the bars, they come down into the triple. Tortelli takes over second place. Huffman still within earshot of the podium. And here is Jeremy McGrath approaching the checkers for the 5th time this year. The 65th time in his career. Tortelli in second. And Damon Huffman a very close third. 2 very fine races by guys who were just hungry to get on that podium.
There's Tortelli's mechanic.
Shane Drew.
He's stoked. Of course, Jeremy's happy. He has reason to be. That's 3 in a row now. He extends his points lead. There's the sportsmanship. Tortelli, he's happy with the way he rode, having to come from behind the way he did. I think Huffman, too. I mean, I know he's disappointed from letting Tortelli get by, but that's his best finish. A 5th last week, a 3rd this week, starting to get on a roll.
This makes Jeremy the second leading winningest rider here in Pontiac. As Hannah had 9 wins, Jeremy McGrath now with 5, one better than Bradshaw's 4. We'll be right back. Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross is being brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. By the U.S. Army, be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. And by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Here at Pontiac, Jeremy McGrath has taken his 3rd consecutive win, where he's led every lap of those 3 races. Still coughing from the flu. Let's go down to Davey.
All right, Jeremy. You lost 2 races to Billman, but I got to tell you, these last 3 races are arguably your best ever. You've led all 60 laps, 3 state main event wins, back in control of this series.
Yeah, David was riding good those 2 races, and I mean, he's granted, excuse me, he's still riding really good, but you know, I just had a little bit of problems at those races, and my starts are coming back. I mean, the bike's working really good, and we've been kind of tuning it up, make sure, you know, we got the right tire selection, and Bridgestone's been a big help there, and you know, it's just all in start.
I know at the same time you've been dealing with this cold. We still hear you coughing. How are you able to even get in training or stay focused on this racing when you feel so bad?
Well, you know, you can't really train that hard when you're sick. So I the week before I didn't ride at all. And then this last week I rode 2 days, but I didn't really train. I didn't want to push it because I knew I had a cough going, and you know, I don't want to make myself worse. So I'm going to continually, slowly get back into my training, and I'll probably end up doing some this week.
Well, you have a great 3 weeks. You got another streak going. Congratulations on the win here at the Silverdome.
Thanks a lot. It feels great to be up here. You know, the last 3 races have been fairly easy for me. I just get to start, and it's not been that big. So, you know, I'm just having a good time, and that's about it.
Jeremy McGrath will have to be on his deathbed before anybody comes close to him. If that's the case, he still has a very bad case of the flu and a cough down deep. But Jeremy McGrath picks off another one here, his 5th win of the season. Tortelli, a very fine situation in 2nd place as we take a look at the top 10. Ricky Carmichael coming back to get into the top 10. Greg Schnell, a fine race too, getting into the main event through the last chance qualifier. Let's go down to Davey.
Sebastian, what a surprising ride. I know you fell about the midway point, then you got back on the gas, you ran up into 2nd.
Yeah, you know, I was 3rd and I stole the bike at the landing, so that was pretty bad. And after that, I just did my race and raced the track, and the track was getting tiring, and I worked pretty hard, and that paid today. And I would thank my sponsor Honda, who did a great bike. You know, that's long time I'm working hard. Outdoor went good, but I get hurt, and hopefully this year going to be better. And so I would like to thank them for the support. I would like to thank Snoopy, who helped me since the beginning out here, Smith, who helped me today, and a lot of sponsors that maybe I forget, but I'm so happy today, and that's a long time I haven't been on podium.
Very good job. And also, we're going to the 3rd place rider here, and here's another big surprise. Damon, that was a ride like the Damon Huffman of old. You seem to really get it together there in the main event.
Yeah, I did, and you know, that start makes all the difference for me. These guys are so good, you can't come through the pack like you used to, but my Suzuki got me up front, and I rode good, ran 2nd for a long time, and made a little bit of a bobble at the end of the whoops, and that's what did it for me.
Welcome back to the podium, Damon.
Thanks a lot. It's been a while, and I'd like to thank Team Suzuki, my mechanic Brian Barry, Thor, Shoei, Smith Goggles, and Dunlop Tires. Thanks, everyone.
It's been quite a comeback for this young man after winning the Atlanta Supercross in 1997. Severe injuries altered a once promising career. Roger DeCosta there on the left believed he could make it back. That's why our U.S. Army Teamwork Award goes to the Team Suzuki crew, team manager Roger DeCosta, mechanic Brian Barry, and all the others who helped number 20 Damon Huffman back up on the podium. Congratulations, Team Suzuki, our U.S. Army Teamwork Award winner. As a tremendous crowd leaves the warmth of the Silverdome for the snow-covered terrain, let's check out the Suzuki point standings. Jeremy McGrath with a 22-point lead on Billerman. He could sit out 2 races and still be ahead of Carmichael and Wyndham. Our next telecast on ESPN2 will be from the Atlanta Supercross on the 4th of March at noon Eastern Time. You can catch all the action from St. Louis on the 25th, and the Minneapolis show is on the 1st of April, and I'm not kidding about that. If tonight's 125 main event is any indication, you've got good reason to check out the 125 shootout from Las Vegas, live pay-per-view on May 6th. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs, thanks for being with us.